Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sarah. And before we even get into today's topic, Mike, can I just say something embarrassing?
Always.
So last week, I downloaded a new language app. Again. And I did exactly what I always do. I was super motivated for like 3 days, did all the little exercises, collected the points, felt amazing. And then on day 4, I just stopped.
The streak died.
The streak was murdered. By me. And the worst part? I've done this exact cycle probably 6 times in the last 2 years. Same app, same 3 days, same tiny coffin for my streak.
Okay, but hand on heart, who hasn't done that? Like, this is the thing about language learning. We all know what we're supposed to do. Study every day. Immerse yourself. Practice speaking. And yet
we keep starting over from zero.
So today we're going to talk about why that happens. Not in a you just need more discipline way, but at the actual brain level. Because here's the thing. The way most of us were taught to study languages, it's working against how the brain actually changes.
And that is such a mind-bending idea when you really sit with it. Like, you're not failing. The method is failing you.
Right. And by the end of this episode, you're going to understand your own brain in a way that honestly changes how you think about every English sentence you've ever practiced. Plus, don't go anywhere after the main conversation, because Charlotte is going to walk you through some of the best vocabulary and phrases from today's episode in our Calm Word Tour segment.
Okay, so where do we start?
Let's start with the biggest myth, the idea that your brain is basically fixed. That at some point, maybe around adulthood, the wiring is done, the circuits are set, and learning a new language as an adult is just harder, slower, maybe a little hopeless.
I genuinely believed that for years.
Most people do, and it's completely wrong. What neuroscience has shown, and this took decades to actually break through into mainstream thinking, is that the brain is not a finished product. It's more like a living garden, always growing, always pruning, always reshaping itself based on what you do and what you pay attention to.
Okay, I love that image. A garden.
And the name for this is neuroplasticity, which sounds intimidating, but the concept is beautifully simple. Every time you think a thought, practice a skill, or use a new word, you're physically changing your brain. You're creating or strengthening a neural pathway, a connection between neurons that literally gets deeper the more you use it.
So when I learned the phrase, to bite off more than you can chew, and used it 3 times in 1 week,
your brain built a small road for it. And every time you use it again, that road gets wider and faster.
That's wild. Because it means even right now, listening to this episode in English, we're physically rewiring something.
Yes. And here's the part that should make you sit up a little. That rewiring is happening whether you guide it or not. If you spend 3 hours a day scrolling through content in your native language, your brain is deepening those pathways too. The brain doesn't take breaks. It's always under construction.
So the question isn't, can I change my brain? It's, am I changing it in the direction I actually want?
Exactly. That's the whole game.
Okay, so knowing the brain is plastic is great. But here's where I always got stuck. I'd know I should practice English. I'd want to, but I just didn't feel like it. I was waiting for motivation to show up.
And motivation never showed up.
Never. It's like waiting for a friend who always cancels.
Right. And this is where the science gets really counterintuitive. Because we have this idea that motivation comes first. You feel motivated, then you act. But research on habit formation and behavioral neuroscience consistently shows the opposite. Action comes first. Motivation follows.
Wait, say that again?
Action precedes motivation. You don't wait until you feel like doing something. You do the small thing first, and then your brain generates the motivation as a response to the action.
That is honestly a little annoying to hear, because it means I have no excuse.
None. Think about it like lighting a campfire. You don't wait for the fire to feel warm before you put the wood down. You build the structure first, even when it's cold, even when you don't feel like it, and then the warmth comes.
So for English learning, that means
It means you open the app before you feel ready. You read one paragraph in English before your brain is in the mood. You say one sentence out loud even when it feels awkward. The feeling of momentum? It comes after the action, not before.
okay, that actually reframes everything. Because I was always trying to manufacture the motivation before I started. But you're saying just start. Start tiny, and your brain will catch up.
One sentence, one word, 1 minute. That's enough to trigger the loop. So we've got the brain changing constantly, and action being the ignition switch. But here's the third piece, and this is the one I think people underestimate the most. The connection between habits and identity.
Ooh, okay. This one got me when I first heard it.
So think about train tracks. When you practice something repeatedly, anything, you're laying down tracks. The first time, it's rough terrain, but every repetition is another layer of the track. After a while, the train doesn't even have to think about where to go. It just goes.
And that's habit.
That's habit. But here's what's interesting. Research on identity-based habits, and James Clear writes about this really compellingly, suggests that the goal of a habit isn't really the outcome. It's the identity you build by repeating it.
So when I practice 5 minutes of English every day, I'm not just improving my vocabulary.
You're becoming the kind of person who practices English every day. The identity shifts before the fluency does.
That actually makes me emotional a little bit, because it reframes the question completely. It's not, how much did I study today? It's, who am I becoming through what I do today?
And that's a much more powerful question, because outcomes are unpredictable. Identity is something you can build deliberately, one small repetition at a time.
5 minutes, every day. Not because it'll make you fluent overnight, but because it says something about who you are.
Yep. The brain is literally sculpting you as you go.
Okay, I want to talk about attention, because I feel like this is the invisible factor that nobody really talks about when it comes to language learning.
Yes. And attention is fascinating because we treat it like a productivity skill, like, oh, I should focus more. But it's actually a wiring tool.
What do you mean?
Where your attention goes, your brain follows. Think of attention as a spotlight. Whatever you shine that spotlight on, that is what gets encoded, strengthened, built into your neural architecture. Distracted attention means shallow encoding. Focused attention means deep learning.
So, scrolling through Instagram in English is not the same as actually reading something in English with full attention.
Not even close. The words pass through, but nothing sticks. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open.
That's a great image.
And here's what's actually happening in the brain when you're distracted. You're not just missing the content you meant to absorb. You're actively training your attention span to be shorter. Every time you switch tasks, every time you reach for your phone mid-sentence, you're reinforcing a pattern of shallow engagement.
Which then makes it harder to focus next time.
Exactly. But the reverse is also true. Every time you read an English article to the end, every time you listen to a podcast episode without skipping, you're building the capacity for deeper focus. You're rewiring attention itself.
So even right now, staying with this episode in English is a form of brain training.
It is. And I mean that literally. Okay, so let's bring this home. If there's one feeling I want you to carry out of today's episode, it's this. You are not stuck. You are sculptable. Your brain is not a finished building. It is a living system that is literally reshaping itself based on what you choose to do and what you choose to pay attention to.
And every English sentence you practice, it's not just language learning, it's identity building. You're becoming someone. Slowly, deliberately, one small action at a time.
And the science backs that up completely. Not as motivation poster fluff, as actual, measurable, biological reality.
So here's what we want you to do today. Just one thing. Before you go to sleep tonight, do one small English action. Read a paragraph. Say a sentence out loud. Write one thought in English. That's it. Start the fire.
And if this episode made something click for you, share it. Seriously. One friend who's trying to learn English. One person who needed to hear that the method might be failing them, not the other way around.
Next week, we're talking about the one thing that makes vocabulary actually stick. Spoiler, it has nothing to do with flashcards.
Can't wait. Until then, keep going. Keep practicing.
And remember, every word is a wire. See you next week.